Yeah, I was saying apologies for that interruption. We just had a technical issue, but we're back up now. So we will proceed. I think Dr. Were was just doing the introductions, and then yes, I think Dr. Were, confirm if you are able to proceed. I think we can continue as we get people back into the meeting.
Yes, I can proceed, but I'm not sure where I stopped from. Looks like I've been talking to myself the whole time. If you say that I was still at the introduction part.
Yeah, I think you were just switching to slide number 2. So
okay.
You can pick up from there.
Okay.
Yeah, apologies for that.
No problem.
Yes.
So I hope that I had discussed about knowing your core skill set and aligning it to your career. And then, no, I'm not sure. I think I'm very much lost. But anyway, we can continue having, make sure you have a goal plan where you want to be in the future. And then as you align your core skills with your career, know your competency level on that skill set, because that is what is going to help you stay in the market as you as you get a push from the audience that will be receiving your content. And then as Dr. Nyaga mentioned about mentorship. Now, this comes in, there are so many ways you can learn from people. And the only way for you to learn is to have an open mind. Be teachable, be humble, and always know that pharmacy is actually a support. I always call it as a support career, because you are the one supporting other departments. When you look at it clearly, you'll find that actually all departments will need you, especially in the line of health. All departments will need you. And when you put yourself there, you are also learning. It's not about the title, but it's about the quality of work that you're going to give as you get support from these other careers or from these other cadres, and also the support that they give you. So how do you then leverage from the network that you will be working with, or the network that you will have created, if it's through sponsors or if it's through mentorship? Be able to attend those CMAs, which Dr. Nyaga says, and have a strategy. Have a strategy. Why am I going there? If you are interested in, say, technology, align yourself with workshops, align yourself with seminars, which are in line with that tech. If it's in academia, and maybe you are very much interested in research, say in academia, align yourself with institutions which offer this. And good thing is, most of these CMAs or most of these workshops are actually free, unless if they are taken to, say, different places where you're not able to reach, that you have to pay. So try and align yourself to try and participate in such seminars, workshops, CME, because again, there is where you get your mentors, there is where you get your sponsors, there is where you get to meet people who have gone through the journey that you are yet to start, or people who have the ability to influence you to take a separate journey because of this. So there are so many things that you'll be able to pick up when you're able to participate in such forums. And this reminds me of before I actually got to teach at the uni, before I got to my interest in health system management. Let me tell you how my interest in academia came about. So after my primary school, it's very interesting. No, actually secondary school. I remember as I was waiting to join campus, I went to a nearby primary school, and I was very much interested in learning. and training at the same time, learning, teaching people new things or things that I already know. And having that good background in sciences and being passionate mostly about biology is like, this is what I want to teach. So I dressed nicely and went into that school and told them, I think I can give some lessons just for free to your students. And at that time, I was really not looking into what will they offer me in terms of money. I was like, let me try this because this is what I really feel I need to do. Like, I can teach, I can address people, so let me do it. So I got that opportunity, but my parents were like, I think it's too early for you. And it would be good if you have the right qualifications before you do that. So I was like, okay, it's fine, because again, I didn't have much time out because again, schools were opening soon. And so I would really, I would not deliver as much as I'd want to, because of first the qualification and second, the time was not enough for me to do that. So inside me, I was like, this is something I should try maybe in the future. So I went to campus, finish, and then during my practice, you know, the way you do patient counseling, someone mentioned to be like, someone mentioned to me, you really have a good, like you can be a good, you can be good in public relations, you can be good in communicating. And you know, that moment when you talk to your patients and they really feel like you're actually giving them the good content that they need to hear and they need to know. I could get such feedbacks a lot. And I was like, okay, so is this something that I do have and that I can tap into it? So it's like, okay, then let me try it. And then, so I practice pharmacy, like now pure practice, clinical and hospital pharmacies. I've practiced it for 4 years. And then now it was during that practice when I could get those feedback. People would tell me, you're actually good in this, you're actually good in this, in writing. I write articles, medical articles, very brief ones. But then I do it for leisure. I don't do it to look for money. But then when I share my content with like my supervisor, I share my content with the people I work with, are like, Barbara, I think this is good. You just need to perfect it and be consistent. I was like, okay, so yeah, this is something I can tap into, but still it needed more competency in that I had to know how to write medical articles, because you don't just write it like a poem. And also I had to do more research so that I gave the correct content. I gave the right content to my audience. And so I was like, okay, this is something I can do along with practicing pharmacy. And then over time, when I moved from now the clinical practice of pharmacy, once I got to Amref, I was like, okay, I think this is the time now to move to my, move a step higher in my career. Because remember, I said you need to have a goal plan. You cannot, you'll not get satisfaction. I think very few people get satisfaction working 50 years as a retail pharmacist or as a hospital pharmacist. It really, depending again on the person that you are, if you feel you are more challenged in, if you feel you get more fulfilled in a challenge environment, then even the better. But if you are the type that umepata kazi and that's the money that was looking for, and now you feel like you're good to go, you're good to retire, you're good to resign, I think very few are in that space. So it's always good to be aggressive and look towards where you want to go and where you want to be. So when I got here at Amref, I was like, okay, the AMIU University, they don't have a school of pharmacy, and I could probably be a pioneer there. But then how do I get to do that? And then how my interest of health systems came about was during my internship. So it was a mix of all the experiences that I got during internship, during work, during the transition from academia to practice. So it's an experience that you get as you work in. As much as you may have that final goal of, yes, I want to be an entrepreneur, so that I'll feel, when I get there, I'll feel that I have actually actualized, but then it's a journey towards there. And when you get these experiences in between, these experiences are the ones going to open up your mind, enlighten you, and see the field in a very different view. And so my interest came in during my internship again and during practice. I was looking at how, now with health system, there are so many factors that contribute to having a healthy system, the foundations of a healthy systems. So I was very much interested in health financing because, I mean, there are challenges outside here. People hardly access care just because of finances. As much as we have the national insurance cover, but still people have that challenge. Even for the private insurance company, you find that people still have that challenge, and you find that I pay premiums, but at some point I'll have to chuck money from my pocket to pay for my medications or to pay for a certain service to be provided. So it's like, does this mean this issue of out-of-pocket spending cuts across whether you have an insurance or not? And it touches on health. So it's like, okay, is it a system-generated issue or it's something that has solution? So what I'm trying to tell you is, as much as you want to venture into a specific area, if it's on tech, if it's on entrepreneur, if it's on academia, research, find out what problems are in that sector. Don't just go blindly. Those paths have been taken before, but what will make you different? Be special, be rare. Don't be so common, in that when you're put in a room of candidates and they want a pharmacist, but then they'll get the 50 of you pharmacists, but then when they look for that specific skill or for that specific skill that they want, you are the only unique person in that room. So what I'm saying is, as you venture to know where you want to be in your next, maybe in the next 10 years, find out the problems of that area. Some of them may not be seen right now. Like right now, just like what Dr. Nyaga has said, technology in the line of health, the health innovation and digital transformation is very huge right now. Data has become it's like the oil right now. And then again, she has mentioned about something to do with climate change, which is it's a hot topic right now. But what makes you think that in the next 10 years, we'll be talking about the same thing? So will you run to do a course in technology, in informatics, or in whatever specialization that you want to do right now because you see that is the current problem, not knowing that this problem may actually be solved in 1 or 2 years? And then what? As in, once the problem has been solved, then what? So as much as what we are sharing may seem not so relevant to the future, because we are also not certain how the future will be. I may tell you, I don't know if you recall, there was a time where most pharmacies are actually running to do clinical pharmacy. How is the field right now? It's very crowded. How are the returns? Not so good. But then what is making you still go and do clinical pharmacy? Is it money? Is it people that you want to save out of that profession? What is your driving force? So when you're looking at, when you're going to find out what exactly I want for my future, also try and consider the current gaps, the current problems, not only in the pharmaceutical industry, but health as a whole. We find very big people like directors, we find consultants, we find researchers who have no background in medical, but they still get that opportunity. So you as a pharmacist, don't fear to step into those opportunities because they are there. Opportunities are there. It just depends how well you are prepared when that time comes. So align yourself with your career, leverage on your networks, be open to learning, explore the options that the career has. Don't be limited to like the major areas of practice. Currently, we have so many areas of practice. You can go into entrepreneurship, you can go into social and administrative pharmacy, you can go into industry, and you don't have to be a regulatory affairs manager or a QC, QA. You can do research, you can do microbial. And the beauty about pharmacy is that it does not limit you. And I think we are at a very much, we stand at a very high level when you compare ourselves to a MOs and dentists. One reason is we actually do research in our undergrad, which is something that you can take advantage of after you graduate. Whether you want to do research related to clinical matters, or whether you want to do research related to data, whether you want to do research related to academia, it's easy for you to do it, and like a doctor starting it afresh, because already you've been, you have that knowledge, that basic knowledge of how to conduct that research. So put yourself in those spaces and make sure you deliver on that space. So I always say it's not about the title, but it's about the quality of work that you offer. And as you go to internship, or for those who have who are done with the internship, I always say don't burn bridges, because it's through that internship that you can get a referral. At one point during my internship, and I'm not sure if it's still happening, you find that during internship, you have so much time to yourself. Don't lock yourself in that pharmacy. You'll find very good people in different departments, whether CCC, whether renal, whether heart clinic, whether orthopedic. Go there, make friends with those nurses. I mean, that's the time you need to learn, and that is where you are going to know this is my area of interest and this is what I want to focus in. As much as you may have that career goal before your internship or after your internship, the moment you push yourself to learn, because we say 70% of what we know is through on-job learning, and then 10% is from what we are taught in school. So the moment you push yourself to go make friends with those nurses, make friends with those lab techs, make friends with those people working at those facilities, learn the much that you can, as far as you don't compromise on your schedule at the pharmacy. You should be able to live there with so much knowledge that you are comfortable to even open up your pharmacy. Let me say that. So the moment you leverage on those small networks that you make, it opens up your mind, and even you get so much insights on now, you get some clarity on now, where do I want to go and how long do I think I can practice this profession. And then after that, you'll have planned your career very well. So make learning your habit. Have that open mind, and then tap into your networks, and just be open to be teachable. That's what I can say. You'll not know everything. You may be the different one in the room. And currently, when you hear, like when you go to a gathering and then people referring themselves as doctors, you'll find that actually pharmacists are not so much recognized as doctors. And even in some countries, they have to do a PharmD for them to be recognized as doctors. Even in West Africa, they have to do those PharmDs, and pharmacists are actually not recognized as doctors. But the thing is, it's okay for someone not to call you a doctor, but what you offer is what matters, because what you offer is going to convince them to call you that title that you want to be called. So let not the title lead you, but the quality of the work that you give. and convince people. We have so much potential as pharmacists. We have so much that you can offer to the community, and we can change the notion out here. Please, for whatever work that you find yourself working, just prove them that this is what a pharmacist can do. And we are willing to give our best, and we give our best based on what is driving us. So if you want to serve the community, give the community the best. And you'll see that it's through this service that you give, through this quality service that you give to the people, it opens up for you ways to propel your career. You may end up falling into the feet of the county governors. You never know. You may end up falling into the feet of some CECs because they have seen what you're doing to the community, and you don't have to go loud. Whatever you do, where you will be, just do it to your level of competency, and not let your title don't let your title go beyond your service. That's what I can say. So explore those options, define your target, and then build on your CV. There's a point I was talking about how to build your career in terms of, like, let me say, your credentials. I always advise that it's always good after you do one qualification, please get some experience before moving on to the next. Don't just go schooling for the next 10 years and then after 10 years is when you start working. It really helps. And then have that patience, have that, be resilient enough to understand that you are in a journey. Because sometimes you find that you may get a job, especially after internship. You know very well, I want to be a scientist. I want to be doing research. I want to be doing drug discovery. But you'll not get there right now. So have that patience, have that resilience, knowing that in this moment that I'm struggling to get to being a researcher or to being a microbiologist, I'm actually building myself. So be patient as you journey towards your career goal or towards your plan. Be agile, as what Dr. Nyaga has also mentioned. Be agile as you journey towards that. I mean, there's so many challenges here, whether finances, whether failure by your colleagues. There are so many challenges that will hinder you from having, let me say, a straight path. Yes, there are those who will have that straight path, but there are always those challenges which will come along. But the moment you understand where you are going, you should be able to be patient enough, but still don't stay there for too long. Sometimes you'll find that you get a very good job, of course, a job that is paying very well, but then you are not growing professionally. So you find that you've worked for that job like 10 years or 20 years, but you're still in the same level where you were 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Is it where your career plan say, your personal development career plan, is it what it says? So don't accept to remain there even if the returns are good. Challenge yourself. There's so much, we have so much space to go to. We have so much, there's so much diversity in the pharmacy field. So go to that field and give your best and learn as you proceed. You get there, high returns, get your money, go back to school. Finish your schooling, work again, vumilia in that state that you get because you know where you're heading to. After that, finish, pay for your PhD. After that, finish, pay for your postgraduate. After that, finish, pay for your certificate course. So it's always not a smooth journey, but when you get to be strong enough, when you get to be agile, these are the challenges that you'll be facing. So the moment you get strong and understand there are always career setbacks, and you should be able to forge forward and be able to achieve your goal, as in get to your career plan. So those are the things that I would really want to mention to you. And then one thing, don't have a closed mind like, don't just look towards the ministry posting you, like working for the counties. Again, this depends on your level of aggressiveness and where you want to be. Because let me tell you, you may get that county job, you may get that good salary, you may get that flexible time, but there's so much time that you waste there. Because of the flexibility of time, you'll find yourself engaging in activities that don't bring in value to you. And yet you have a career plan of 20 years. So you find yourself wasting so much time, and yet that time is the time that you can use to maybe upgrade some, you can do some small courses, you can do some volunteer even at that time. So something that can build onto your CV, some qualification that can build you. So as much as there's that security, let me call it security, being employed through the county, but it still puts your career at a, should I say, at a recession, like, or a stagnation. You will hardly grow unless you have some enlightenment of how you spend your days or your time working for the county. So don't let it not be your end goal, like, if I don't get a county job, I'm finished. No, let it not be that way. We have people at the county right now, and they really wish to leave the county, but it feels like it's too late for them. Or you find that there are people at the county, but they want to leave, but the county, like, imewakatalia, because we all know how the system is in terms of employment. And of course, it comes with some advantages where you get, there are some who have been sent to school because of the county, but then they still need you to go back and work for them. And then that becomes another challenge. So the county sends you to school, you have to go back. You have gone to school, you have gotten a higher qualification, going back, there are no resources. So you cannot practice there. What do? You have to look for private sector, or at least somewhere where you'll be able to practice what you have qualified for. So those are just some of the challenges that are currently in the employment sector, but you can overcome those challenges once you have a tangible career plan or a tangible career goal. So make use of that, have that career plan, know what you're good at, know what you can offer aside from the pharmacy qualification that you have. Be teachable, have that open mind, leverage from your networks, find opportunities, even during career setbacks. Like I said, some of you may not be employed immediately, and that's the time you'll find that people get depressed, people will be stressed. But if you have been able to identify that innate core skill that you already have, then it can help you during this time of the setback. And then make learning your habit, and always be willing to know what is happening in the field, and then put yourself forward. Don't be led by the title, be led by the quality of work that you'll be offering to the people you'll be serving. I think that's it from me. And I'll close by this quote by Emerson: do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. So it's simply, you may be in this pharmacy field, but how many are you? So many people have gone through that journey. So many people have gone through that career. But what differentiates you from this other person? And are you willing to go to an area or to go to specialize in a field that people in the pharmacy field are scared of? When you think about it, health technology was not a thing really in the past, but right now it's a thing. How many pharmacists do we know took that route? I would say very few that I know of. How many pharmacists took the route of being like not really an entrepreneur, how many pharmacists do you know took the route of being a researcher or being a consultant? Right now we have consultant pharmacists. So as much as you go into that path, just know what will differentiate you from all other pharmacists who will be going through that path or who have gone through that path, and isolate yourself and make yourself a rare one. Be a rare one, and don't be scared to diverse into those areas where you feel our knowledge is needed, where you feel our support is needed. So I think that's it from me. Maybe I can stop there and hand it over to Chair.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Were. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, nice. So that was a great delivery. Understand that we the technical that we sort of experienced must have disoriented some of us, but I know we picked up on well, and I'm glad that you've had the chance to also add to the discussion from where Dr. Nyaga had left with regards to encouraging the students. I think we also have recent graduates on here to have a plan for ourselves, in as much as we are looking at the bigger picture of getting employed, and then what else beyond that. And I'm also glad that you've touched based on the importance of getting involved even at undergraduate level beyond classwork. That is to say, this is something that I feel like we as students we would benefit from if we just took up spaces, opportunities to exercise or just find out what skills we hold, in as much as we look to being all-rounded professionals. Now, maybe at this point, just as a reminder, the participants, we had lost the chat initially. So I think 2 questions for Dr. Nyaga. So I'd like to ask the participants who had raised the concerns to redo. And then if there are some who have questions for Dr. Barbara, also share now, because this is the time. I don't know if Dr. Nyaga remembers the questions from the first half of the session. You can address them now, and then if there's more participants, you can just let us know, unmute, and then engage the speakers. Dr. Nyaga.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, I think I saw one, and the person was asking what's a typical day for me like, or what does my work entail? I think I saw a question like that. And so, all right, so I started off at Intellisoft as a health informatics consultant, and that means that it's a digital health company. That means that the core business of the company is to develop digital health systems for Africa, actually, and this includes systems that are used in, let's say in the public sector. So you'll find, like, when you go to MOH have one system that they tend to use, or they even have a system that they also use to aggregate data at the national level. And this replicates itself across countries across different countries in Africa and across the world anyway. So as a health practitioner in such a place, my role includes, starts from from the very beginning of the business development aspect. That means that so most of these opportunities are funded by grant funders, by the USAID, by PEPFAR, by all these international organizations. And for you to get these opportunities, you have to apply, you have to write bids, you have to write proposals to win these opportunities first. So my work begins there. So I also lead business development. So starting from, once we get an opportunity, I do an analysis of it based on, can our company actually pull this off? Do we have the health expertise? Do we have enough health experts to help the techies understand? Because actually a gap is that, techies don't have domain knowledge about health. Yes, they can develop for you a beautiful system, but they don't know about, they don't know that they probably don't understand why there is a range for high blood, or there's a range for blood pressure, or a range for heart rate. So when you provide for them, chunky information, they can't understand. So my work will include, of course, getting the opportunity. Once we get it, break down that information for a techie in a way that makes sense to them. So you break that information down from from all health info to something that a techie can understand. Come up with personas, come up with workflows for for a techie to understand that this is my patient, this is the journey I want them to go through. Can you develop a system that will enable this patient to do this? Because you actually understand a patient journey, you understand the kind of workflow a doctor would want to go through as as they're seeing a patient, so, or a pharmacist. So I'll probably draw a workflow for a pharmacist, either a clinical pharmacist or a dispensing pharmacist or a pharmacist at the counter, so I try to break down that workflow, and that workflow is what I give to the techie to now come up with a system. And then, of course, I'm also very involved in data science. So a lot of projects involve, they collect a lot of data. So and the whole process of making sense of data is, of health data, is very complex. From, you get this raw data from your system, you have to clean it, you have to extract the core elements that you think make sense for, for analytics. Then you have to ask yourself, what questions do you want to ask about this data? So, I look at the data and ask myself, okay, do I think there could be a relationship between the number of pregnant women the number of maternal mortality in the month of June, and maybe the number of doctors who are on site? So as a doctor, you're able to think, with a health background, you're able to come up with or think about important questions that you can ask, based on all the knowledge we learned in school about risk factors, things that affect outcomes. So based on that, you are actually better placed to do all this data analytics work. And then, of course, there's also a lot of work in tech about digital health strategies. So a lot of countries are now developing, frameworks to, for digital adoption, for digital transformation. So as a person with health domain background, there's work we call technical assistant. So you'll find, let's say there's a project that is happening in Kenya, they are developing a digital health transformation framework. So me with my health background, I'll be in that midst, to offer technical assistance either to the government and to, or to the client that we are working with. So I think that's basically, from the research, health data science, and innovation. So yeah, that's how my day looks like. But the beauty about tech, no day looks the same. So every day is a new day, every day is a different day, every day is a different day to learn. And like I said, every day you're a novice. So I think also another way my day looks like is every day I'm new at something. So yeah, I think I've seen that question. I don't know. Yeah, in case there's another one. Can you expound on more career opportunities when it comes to pharmacy and other careers like data science and opportunities available? Okay, so I'll tell you what, I think Dr. Ware has said that data is the new oil. Everyone is talking about data, and as more countries continue to, undergo digital transformation, there's going to be more data, there's going to be more need for people who are in healthcare to help make sense of this data. And like I'm telling you, you with a health background are able to see and ask the right questions about that data. Maybe a statistician won't know, but you understand the things that affect health outcomes. So one of the career opportunities is definitely data science across different companies, across different health domains, HIV area, across all healthcare domains. So you can decide to, go into data science, you can decide to be, things like epidemiologists, those are guys, or bioinformaticians. All these are, career opportunities in health tech. Yeah. So, I think those are the two questions I can see.
Yes, Dr. Nyaga, before you respond to the next question by Dwayne, he is asking, as a person who's interested in data analysis, how can you start the journey? I want you to respond to that. While there was some prior questions, I'm thinking are still on the same note. So there's a question that was asked earlier on, that was much of your data science knowledge during and after the fellowship self-taught? If so, what resources would you recommend? There's one that said, as an aspiring healthcare technologist in computational design and AI, which areas in the learning process would you emphasize or recommend? And then lastly, what are some of the recommendations for learning and skill development for budding digital health professionals? So I'm thinking you can sort of conclusively respond to those because they are related. And then, yes, we'll proceed to the next.
Right. Okay. So, about the learning. So yes, I'd say the fellowship actually built up on, things I already knew. Actually, most days in the fellowship, I was just like, I know that, I've done that. So a lot of it was self-taught. Like I said, I began in 2016, learning the tech, all those Python and R. And it was, it was a self-taught journey. I didn't go to any class. Okay, YouTube is a class. And I tried so many resources, and I can't tell you. There are days I would take a book and then read one page and I'm like, oh God, this is too hard. Or, then I watch a YouTube video and then the Indian has I can't understand the accent, it's too deep. I change, I try, I go to data camp, okay, it's easy. And, maybe the first two modules are easy and then I can't do this anymore. So I also tried, Coursera, and there are so many data Python courses over there. I tried that as well. I tried Udacity. There's even a site called SoloLearn, Data Quest. I tried, honestly, I can't tell you that there's one perfect avenue. I really had to try so many, and you'd find that maybe YouTube works for one thing, because I want to see how it's done, how it's demonstrated, like especially when you're trying to use new software, you want to see a demonstration. But there are some times where, reading helps. So I wouldn't say that there's one way to do it. There's no one size fits all. There are so many resources, like I've mentioned, just try. If you find you don't understand the YouTube, try a book, try a site, try guys who run. Nowadays, there are people who even compiled, the path to data science, and they have compiled a whole user guide. So you can try as many resources as you can. And then, so where do you begin? Honestly, I think you can begin anywhere. You just need to figure out, okay, what do I want? If you want to get into tech and health and data, what kind of data or what kind of tech do you want to do? Do you want to start building software for health? Do you want to analyze? Do you want to just analyze data for just pure analytics? Do you want to do AI, to build models that predict if a patient is at risk of having adverse drug reactions, or at risk. Sorry, Manya, I think. Yeah. So do you want to use your, so I think that's the first step. Figure out what, where you want to be. Do you want to be a data analyst? Do you want to build models? Do you want to, like I mentioned, there's a very lucrative field called, in silico drug design. And it really interested me. It's just that I didn't, end up in a pharma company, doing the, in silico drug design, but you can actually use software to do, change the way we used to learn about structure activity relationships. Like you literally change the structure of a molecule using your computer. Take a ligand, and bind them, see the affinity. There's so many interesting things that you can. So you just need to figure out, okay, what do I want to use it? And I think if there's one resource I'd recommend, as you're looking through all others, it's called Kaggle, K-A. I'll just type it in the chat. So Kaggle is, I think it's a wonder. It's an amazing place to go to find any kind of resources and, about a lot of things. Tech is there, people are there, doing all sorts of things. It's a wonderful resource, and it can even, give you ideas on where you can start. I hope I've answered your question, and yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Nyaga. Apologies for that brief interruption before. So the next question, I think this would be, I'd let Dr. Were respond to this. So Eunice is asking, I'd appreciate some insight into clinical/hospital pharmacy or any other pharmacy sphere with the least possible amount of logistics and paperwork. Or Dr. Nyaga, if you can also, feel free to respond to that. I think any one of you can.
I think I'll let Dr. Were answer that. Yeah, I think she mentioned she has had like 4 years experience.
Okay, no problem, I can go ahead. So I'm assuming that this is a person who's interested to go into clinical or hospital pharmacy. And then, so that means you want a place where there's list of paperwork. So that means systems really have to be in place. Now, clinical and hospital pharmacy, they're actually used interchangeably, but they are actually different. When you talk about clinical pharmacy, that means you are able to go for the ward rounds. You're able to advise the doctor on maybe the patient's medication needs to be changed because of this and this and this. You're able to advise the right treatment. You're able to advise on the maybe changes of doses depending on how the patient is presenting and all that. But when you talk about hospital pharmacy, it's basically managing a pharmacy in the hospital. So yes, you'll receive those prescriptions, you'll have to dispense them, you'll have to give counseling, you'll have to do inventory management, of course, that is supply chain management, you'll have to do supply and procurement, you'll have to do a little bit of staff management also. So that is the major difference. So you don't have that chance to meet the patients on, especially the inpatients or patients whose medication needs, say they need other treatment because of this. So you really don't have that. You really don't have that direct contact to the patient, and in clinical pharmacy. And then you find that when you look at the facilities that are currently, the hospitals that we have currently, I would say actually just one hospital where I practiced. is the only hospital that will allow, actually two, yeah, I know of two. One is in my home country, then another one here in Nairobi where I worked. So those are the only facilities which will allow pharmacists, and specifically clinical pharmacists, to go for ward rounds. And so they have to make sure that this clinical pharmacist, of course, is qualified, and that means you have to do your master's degree in clinical pharmacy. But for hospital pharmacy, you don't need that specialization to do clinical pharmacy. Well, it's a plus, but there is actually no much difference of a hospital pharmacist and a retail pharmacist or a community pharmacist. It's just that at the hospital pharmacy, you have that you're able to call the doctor, which you still can do at the retail, but it's a bit limited. So you're able to call the pharmacy, you're able to call the doctor, advise the patient, advise the doctor that I think we need to reduce this dosage, I think we need to change this drug because the patient has mentioned about this, this, and this, or we don't have this drug, and so this is what we have that you can give as a substitute or as an alternative, or you are able to pick out some of the things which the doctor missed. Maybe the patient forgot to tell the doctor that they are having that moon face, maybe because of too much use of steroid, or they're having they're having muscle weakness because of it. They have been taking grapefruit juice, say, with statins and all that. So at that point is where you capture that. But in clinical, you interact directly with you interact directly with the patient, and also you have access to the lab test of this patient. Unlike in hospital practice or at the community practice, you'll hardly get to see the results of the patient. You'll hardly get to see any test that this patient has done. I hope that is clear. And then when you talk about logistics and paperwork, well, this is purely dependent on the system that you'll meet. Assuming you're in clinical pharmacy, you may get to practice that clinical pharmacy in a specific organization, but the system that they're using is very paperwork. Like they have not upgraded to a better, maybe a hospital system. So you have to do much of the paperwork. You have to do, like, there's no system that is going to support you. There's no e-system that is going to support you. So I'd say for matters of logistics and paperwork, this is more towards the type of institution that you'll be working with. But the difference between clinical and pharmacy and hospital pharmacy, I think that is, I have put it clearly. Maybe Dr. Nyaga, you can add something to that?
Yeah, I think you've covered it, Doc. Yeah. I think I've forgotten him from there. So, but yeah, I think you've covered it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Were and Dr. Nyaga. I'm not so sure if we had any question directed to Dr. Were during the session, but we had a couple of general concerns that we also received previously. And while we are keeping time, I understand we have kind and sort of weird, but we are ending this soon. There was a concern. This was like very general. How did your journey in UN prepare you for who you are today? What were the most significant things you did to set you up for your post-graduation journey? So this, I think this would go to both Dr. Nyaga and Dr. Were. And then after that, I think we will be able to now close because I think we've done quite well so far. Dr. Were, you can go.
Please allow me, because I have a meeting actually at work in the next 8 minutes, so I can just drop off. I think I already covered that actually in one of my slides where I was talking about cultivating your luck before you need it, and I had that whole circle.
Hello. Is Doc still talking?
Oh, sorry. I think I muted myself. Sorry. I think the question is asking about our personal journeys, and I think the first one for me that was very transformational was going to do my BSc. I mean, it was a BSc in physiology, and most pharmacists are not a fan of physiology. I was actually not. It was one of the hard subjects for me, but I was like, I wanted a break because I wasn't cracking how. I don't know, I hadn't gotten a breakthrough in pharm school. So I think taking that break and going to do physiology changed my whole life totally. And then after that, I think we had 2 long holidays. So what I did, every long holiday, I would go back to the medical physiology department and tell them and say that I want to work here. I want to do a whole another project, and I said that I don't want to be paid. I said, I don't want a salary. What I want is that you fund my research, buy for me the rats, buy for me all the reagents that I want. And on condition that I'll do the work, I'll do all the slave work, I'll do all the work that goes into a project on condition that I get published, that every work that I do here, every project I work on is going to be published, and where I do the most work, I'm going to be the first author of my work. And so that's how by the time I was finishing campus, I think I had like 4 papers published, and I didn't, and that's why I mentioned, volunteering, like, abandon that story of, I don't know, you need money to eat. I know you do, but you're young, you can sacrifice a lot of things. You can sacrifice that shopping, those expensive clothes, you can sacrifice them. Take a very small stipend and just, work, because I'll never be able to work like that again. And, I don't have as much energy as I had that time. I don't have the curiosity as much as I had then, but, so I think those are the 2 things that changed my life the most. And I think that detour, and of course starting to teach myself self-learning tech, I think so all those 3 things came together and made me lucky. So yeah, I think that was my journey.
Right, nice, thank you so much. Dr. Were?
What I can say is that I put myself out there, and I had a strategy because I knew what I wanted. So I'd always try and fix into those networks where I would learn more, and through the learnings, there is where those learnings are the ones which propelled me to, I say, where I am right now. And I'm not yet done. Like, I would say this is just a second step in my career, because I still want to go for more, because I still believe there's so much more that is yet to be discovered. There's so much more that is yet to be offered. And I feel that I have that with me. It's just that I need to place myself in the right platforms using those networks that I have gained. So I'd basically say, where I am right now, what has brought me to this far, or what has made me be in this space that I am right now, is through the network that I have been able to be into, and it's through my efforts of pushing myself and getting out there to know what the field has for me. And what I always say to myself is, be relevant, always remain relevant, be unique, be rare. That's what I can put it. Back to you, Manyala. Manyala, can you hear me?
I think Manila is having some internet connection problems.
Okay, no problem. There's one more thing that, there's one more question which I think was addressed to me, that was on going for studies outside the country. Let me just try to get that question. Which are the best countries in which one can pursue postgraduate studies in pharmacy? Well, there are so many countries which are offering pharmacy, but what I always tell people is don't just go somewhere because you want to change the environment, or because you feel that that course here has not been taken so much seriously, or maybe the opportunities that course that you want to undertake is not, the market is not wide enough to absorb you once you're done. So what I advise is, it's still okay to do your postgraduate studies here in the country, but what you have to look for is how the market is. If you want to do drug discovery, do you think you'll have a space to practice that in Kenya? Or you'll have to choose to go, say, to Switzerland, you do your drug discovery and have that possibility of getting absorbed in their market, because that sector is big enough to absorb you. So don't be drawn by degrees from outside the country, but what matters is the market of that sector at that time once you graduate. If you want to do entrepreneurship in Kenya, would you want to go study supply chain, procurement and supply chain in Kenya, just because you feel that the pharmacy industry in the line of supply chain or entrepreneurship will be able to absorb you easily? Or would you rather go to where UK and do a course on procurement and supply chain? So as you seek to go for further studies, whether outside the country or choose to do them from here, also look at what the market is offering. How is the market, how is the pharmaceutical industry in relation to that postgraduate course that you have done in that country? I would recommend, well, I know of very good pharmacy universities in the UK, and they have very good, they help their candidates in getting jobs immediately after. Actually, they may absorb you for an internship, or they help you, they'll put you in a platform where employers can easily find you. That is the beauty of what other countries do, and like what I have seen here. So you find that you do your postgraduate studies, say in University of Liverpool. Maybe you've done drug discovery, or you have done health technology or drug innovations and health innovations and all that. And then after that, they put you into one of their like a pool of that sector as an intern, and then after that they employ you. So just weigh your options and know where your value will be needed, and know how the market of that area is. I think that was one of the questions which I found on my session, question about whether to do a postgraduate degree outside the country or inside or here in the country. Yeah, I think that's it. Back to you, Manyala.
Nice, thank you so much for that. And Levis, kindly make me host as we end. So this is the last minutes of the session. I believe that the two sessions were informative. I'd like to also trust that we have benefited from from the talks by Dr. Nyaga, Dr. Were, we are open to engage them after the session. Probably if you have follow-up questions, let us know. But as of this point, I'd like to just to wind up and let you know that we had a very nice idea behind this series of talks, and it's somehow related to or linked to other initiatives by NUPSA that we are working on. So I know we have so far worked with alumni from our end, and I know Dr. Vera and Dr. Nyaga are very willing to support us. We have a call for alumni, just trying to reconnect with recent graduates and those who are willing to support NUPSA, NUPSA's initiatives and projects, for example, the mentorship program that we are working on. And initially we had done a survey internally, and we sort of mapped out areas of interest of the various interested mentees. So the phase one was closed last month, and we are looking to attach some of the mentees to mentors. So this is one area that we feel is important, in as much as we are being asked to go out there and find people we are looking up to, approach them and engage them. We want to do that difficult work for our students and our members. So we're reaching out to potential mentors and asking them, come back and then make this easier for us. We are going to, let the students know that you are available and you will support. So this is an area that we are looking at, and we're hoping that Dr. Were and Dr. Nyaga would be very instrumental in that regard. For those who missed out on the first session, and of course, those who missed out on the first half of today's session, we will have these sessions uploaded on our YouTube channel. So we ask you to go there and subscribe so that you get to access these resources at your own convenience. Maybe if you want to look back and just experience what was said before, how questions were responded to, and all that. So thank you so much. As of this point, this is just me appreciating the speakers, Dr. Were, Dr. Nyaga, for creating time despite the busy schedules, and for the participants for also creating time. I know it was a Friday afternoon. Some of you had classes and all, but we appreciate you and look forward to hosting you for the next session. So be on the lookout on our social media pages for the next speakers. We promise you that it's we worked on this nicely, so we won't be disappointed. Thank you so much. All the best. Have a nice weekend. You feel free to leave when you please. Thank you so much. You can unmute and say goodbye.
Goodbye.